Laptop, check. Cell phone, check. Internet connection, check.
The era of the digital business rockstar has arrived.
Live, work, and play anytime, anywhere.
Few have cracked the code. Today, you will be one of them. Now, from an exotic location somewhere in the world, business maverick and global lifestyle expert on a mission to help struggling entrepreneurs reclaim their time and lifestyle. Here's New York Times best-selling author, Daven Michaels. This is the Jetset Entrepreneur.
Hey there, it's Daven Michaels, New York Times best-selling author, 30-year business veteran, and I want to welcome you to the Jetset Entrepreneur, the podcast, webinar. We're across multi-channels all across the world for people that want to live their life by their own design, have a life that they dictate rather than a life that their business dictates for them. And I want to welcome you to the live webinar. If you're joining us live, congratulations, because when you're on the live webinar, you get to see us, you get to ask questions, and also about 60% of our content never makes it to podcast. So you definitely want to be on this webinar right now. So I want to congratulate you for being here. Also, I want to make sure you can all hear me okay. So type a big fat yes into the chat right now, please, so I know you can all hear me okay. And also, I want to acknowledge Amir because you were the first one to say hello. Hey, Amir, welcome. Dale, welcome. Chris Pillsbury, welcome. Dale Bundy, Tiki, Arlie, Christina Lee, Hank. Oh, Hank's a regular person here. Welcome, Hank. It's great to have you. Jeremy Baird, Reverend Steve. How are you, Reverend Steve? I think you're coming out to Beyond Marketing Live. Phyllis Flemings. Hi, Phyllis. Nice to see you. Lisa Carlisle, Gary Roberts, Emily Hutchinson, Gary Roberts. There you go. Okay, lots of people. Okay, so I've been told that we're going to go ahead and kind of acknowledge everyone at the top of the hour for being here, but that we're not supposed to keep on doing it through the rest of the webinar. So Liz, who's coordinating that, told me not to do that. So anyways, I want to welcome you all to the webinar. And also, you can now take the Jetset Entrepreneur with you and listen to us in your car or wherever you are in the world. Just you can take us on your Android or your iPhone. And the way to do that is simply to go to iTunes and search Daven Michaels and then load up the Jetset Entrepreneur, or better yet, subscribe. And that way you'll get me every week in your mobile device. But again, I just want to tell you one more time, you want to make sure to be on these webinars live because this is where the action is. This is where we'll be answering questions live. This is where 60% of the content is that you will not get on our podcast, and I'm giving away money. So we're trying something new here where I'm actually giving away.
I showed up.
Yes, exactly. I'm giving away cash. You're going to save cash on staff. No, I'm going to give away cash on this webinar, and we're going to have a lot of fun right now too. So first of all, I can see that you all hear me okay. I'm going to ask you some questions as we go today. And as you know, many of you that are regular subscribers to the Jetset Entrepreneur, oh, and I didn't tell you, if you're not on the webinar, the way to get on the webinar is to go to davenmichaels.com and simply register to receive all of our free goodies, and then you will receive notifications whenever we go live on the Jetset Entrepreneur. So also, what I do want to do is we are going to give away some stuff, give away some free stuff, and so I'm just going to ask you some questions as we go here. First person to answer these questions are the ones that are going to win cash prizes. And as you know, I've been talking a lot about Beyond Marketing Live, and this is actually the last webinar you'll hear me speaking about Beyond Marketing Live for a while. And the reason why is because Beyond Marketing Live is coming up in just a few days. We start on Friday morning at 9 a.m. at the SLS Las Vegas Hotel and Casino, and I look forward to meeting you all there live and in person and getting to shake your hand. And make sure you come up to me and say, hey, Daven, I've been listening to you on the Jetset Entrepreneur, and I look forward to that. It's going to be awesome. And I'm going to share with you how to get free tickets for Beyond Marketing Live before we wrap up here today. So I do have a question for you, and that is, if you guys want to tell me who is one of the speakers that's going to be at Beyond Marketing Live. Now, of course, there's myself, and there's our VP, Vijal Parmar, but who else is going to be speaking at Beyond Marketing Live? Let's see. Okay, well, yeah, that's a good one. Casey Eberhart's going to be there, and Lisa, you were the first person to say that. Lisa, if you'll go ahead and drop me in your PayPal email address, we're going to send you $20. And normally we're going to send them to you in real time, but it's going to be about an hour delayed, and that's because Liz is busy doing some other stuff, so she's not going to be in the chat with us today. So Lisa, did you drop in your email address so we could send you some money? I don't see it. Let's see. There we go. Okay. Yeah, woohoo. All right. There it is. Okay, great. Thank you for that, Lisa. You're handling. Okay, Liz is handling. Well, in that case, Liz, send him money now. Thanks. Okay, cool. All right, so I'm going to introduce you to one of my great friends, one of my best friends in the whole world. We've been friends for, I don't know, decades, a long, long time. One of my best buds in the whole wide world, Casey Eberhart. Welcome to the Jetset Entrepreneur Case.
Awesome, Daven. I'm so honored and thrilled to be a part of this. This is awesome.
Yeah,
and congratulations on the show and the explosive growth you're having on iTunes. It's fantastic to watch. So if you guys aren't subscribed yet, make sure to hit subscribe, as well as leave Daven and the Jetset Entrepreneur a review out on iTunes.
Yeah, thanks, buddy. I appreciate that. And for those of you that have been following me for a long time, you know that Casey's actually one of my best friends in the whole world. We've been friends way before either of us were speakers, way back in the day in the entertainment business. And Casey is a highly accomplished business person. He's had all types of different businesses over the last several decades, and you can talk to that in a few minutes as well. A maverick entrepreneur, one of the best speakers I know, and we know each other, like I said, from the entertainment business. As a matter of fact, Case, do you want to share with everyone how we met?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you know, today we're going to focus on what influencers do and what networkers do, and how to really build up your influence in your marketplace. And the way Daven and I met was really a special encounter that just kind of flourished. So back when I had an equipment rental company for the film and television equipment, we rented everything from like walkie-talkies and wardrobe racks and traffic cones, and our clients were a lot of high-end clients. And the reason we attracted the higher-end clients was because we did not go after the low price or the low budget stuff. We went after the exclusivity of clients. So our clients were Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, Michael Jackson. And the reason that we attracted that group was because of our influence within the marketplace. And so I remember very clearly we got a call, a last-minute walkie-talkie job. We didn't know where it came from. And I remember sitting there in the office in Burbank, California, right by the airport, and I saw this blue car roll across. And I was like, oh, that's a sweet ride. And it pulls into our parking lot, and it was Daven Michaels. And we didn't know Daven. I'd never met Daven. I didn't know really who he was. I didn't know his past. I didn't know that he was a world-famous music producer, that he was a musician and an artist in his own right, and that he had gone on to producing television series. I didn't know any of that when he rolled into the driveway. But I remember it was very early on in the morning. We had his walkie-talkies prepped and ready to go, and we'll talk a little bit about how we add value to clients and customers to make sure that they have an exceptional experience with whatever you do. But Daven got out of the car, and I remember very clearly going, hey, why don't you come on in? My name's Casey. I'm the owner of the shop. Why don't you come on in and let's have a beer? And even though I don't believe we actually ended up having a beer at 8:10 in the morning, right, it was much more symbolic of, hey, let's come in and break bread and shake hands and let me find out about what you're about and see how I can serve you and the production and the show you were working on. And because of that, we just hit it off, and the follow-up process really took hold, and Daven became a great client of ours in that business throughout all the various projects he was working on. And very soon we kind of crossed that threshold of, sort of vendor-producer relationship into friendship. And then from there, we've been friends for eons and eons, but it really all came down to, I believe, me extending my hand and saying, hey, let's go grab a beer at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Absolutely, and that was certainly a pattern interrupt. I pulled up in my Porsche at 8 a.m. I'm like, okay, yeah, let's have a beer. But I don't think we had a beer, but we certainly had a great conversation, and that was the beginning of a wonderful friendship. And my favorite friendships, my favorite friendships, I guess, my favorite friendships, but it's always awesome when you can make a lot of money with your friend too. And we've done that over the years. We've done all kinds of joint ventures together and business projects together. And if you've been to a Beyond Marketing Live anywhere in the world, Casey is our MC. He also speaks at the event. He's spoken for us at our events all over the world, and he's just kind of family for us. So, Casey, thanks for taking time out from your busy schedule. I appreciate it.
No worries, no worries.
Awesome. So, Case, where are you right now?
I am currently in Los Angeles, but funny enough, I was laughing because a week and a half ago, I was in Sydney, Australia. I got off of a plane. I had 24 hours in Los Angeles. I then just came off of a cruise where I took 115 people on a cruise with me, and we just got off the ship yesterday, and I'm here today, and then tomorrow I jump a flight and come out to Las Vegas and hang out with the Beyond Marketing Live folks, and you and Liz and the whole family, and that's what kind of being a jet set entrepreneur is all about, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, and yeah, it's exciting. But where are you specifically? Normally, I see you at your house. What's that background? Is that your office?
Yeah,
or?
so I have a training center where I have a room that's set up for about 50 people, and we do lots of live trainings, and so it's a great place to sort of have an office to sort of plant myself when I need to get out of the home office, and when I have time in Los Angeles, I like to go and hang out, and I share the space with a couple of friends of mine. It's their main office. I just have kind of overtaken the upstairs and turned it into kind of a training room, and so it's great. It's a great space, and we may talk about space and kind of your surroundings, but it's a great open environment for us to think about. I have dry erase markers, and we draw formulas on the windows, and we got giant walls where we can do butcher paper up on the walls and really start to mind map things out and strategize and come up with new ideas. And then whenever we do live events, we do them right here. So I'm at the office at the end of Hazeltine.
Got it. Okay, that's cool. I remember our old Hollywood offices. I think you came over there. Our walls. We had one room, couple of rooms where all the walls were writable. So we would just sit there and map out our funnels and stuff, and that was fun. I like doing that.
Well,
cool.
I recommend. I did this in my home office. At the house, I literally went and bought a 4-foot by 8-foot giant. It might even be bigger than that. It's bigger than a piece of plywood, which in my head is how I think of 4 by 8 because of my equipment rental days. But you can get a big, giant dry erase board and put that in your office, and it works great for really taking that creativity and putting it up on the board, and you can swap it out and change it. And, the other thing, I have dry erase markers all over my house. So wherever I am, I'm the guy that takes dry erase markers and writes all over my mirrors in the bathroom. So I have strategies and formulas and sales funnels drawn out all over the mirrors. I take markers with me when I'm at hotels. And that's why I don't let people in my hotel room, because I like to draw things all over the mirror.
There you go. Yeah, the mirror thing is really cool. We have 4 offices, but as you know, the reality is I work 90% of the time out of my house, and well, maybe 80% of the time. And so over here, we kind of have that designer element. So Liz is going to be getting these huge mirrors and then framing them so that we can write on them. So I think that's pretty cool. So
I would recommend. If you're going to go that mirror route, if this is for everybody on the call, I would recommend actually starting at IKEA. That's how I started. I bought these huge floor-to-ceiling mirrors that were framed out. I think they were $100, but the mirror was huge, and it looked decent. And then we just set them on the walls. And at Atomic, the old production office, we had mirrors stood up all down the side that we wrote on. So it can be as easy as going to IKEA.
That's really cool. I love it. Awesome. So, Case, can you share with everyone a little bit about your business background?
Yeah. So my business background is, it's so funny. I get asked that a lot, and I never really know how to answer it. My career has been built on the premise of being a true entrepreneur. The last quote, "jump out of bed" or "job" or what, it's such a swear word for me to even say to myself, was really back when I was about 21, 22 years old. I had been working at an amusement park, and at that amusement park, I ended up, a venture capitalist firm came in, and the guys took me under their wing and mentored me, and 3 years after I took over the general managership of that park, I ended up selling it and brokering a deal to sell that park to Six Flags. And so from there, I moved to Los Angeles and started working in the film and entertainment business, ended up winning a giant award a few years after I worked here, and retired out of that and owned a equipment rental company. And throughout my career, even like back when I was 5, going forward, I always had different businesses going. So I've bought and sold businesses, I've started businesses, I've closed businesses, I've combined businesses, and really throughout that through line, at the end of the day, what I really understand, probably better than most, is that a network of people is where products and goods and deals really happen. It really happens in the private conversations and the network that you build out. And so throughout my career in buying, selling, and building businesses, what's ultimately ended up happening is I've had experience in multiple verticals, multiple businesses, multiple levels of business in terms of revenue, had multiple experiences generating network along the way. And so here we are, and one of the things I found out just mentally was that if I could get in front of people as a speaker and develop and hone that skill set as a speaker, then that is an easy way to start to leverage networks. And, I just figured out very quickly that, kind of some keys to business are understanding distribution, understanding leverage, and understanding sales, and understanding of taking care of your network. Everything else tends to work itself out. So I've had everything, Daven, from a T-shirt screen printing place. I've generated millions of dollars selling pet products on Amazon. I had an eBay business. I mean, I think it's kind of like you go with what's in front of you, and I know you well enough to know, and a lot of your audience, just by who we've seen at Beyond Marketing Live, is that, as entrepreneurs, we always try to up the game and amp the game, and sometimes you mix passion, and sometimes you mix education, which is AKA losing a lot of money, and we're all on maybe different quests, but at the end of the day, there's just a mindset that happens that I just think you're born with, and you kind of can hone that skill. And so I'm really just an entrepreneur at heart.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think entrepreneurs, they identify trends, right? And so they tend to be trendsetters. Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I remember back, thinking of trends. I remember back in the day, and you have experience with this, obviously, with you being who your past was with the electronic dance craze back in the 80s and 90s. I was a audience member of, I used to go to a lot of raves. I'll just call it. I went to a lot of raves and had a lot of fun, and figured out that there was an open market for T-shirts. And so I had a T-shirt screen printing business that made T-shirts for other clients, but I also had a T-shirt screen printing business online where we sold T-shirts into kind of the raver market. And I would go to raves and stick stickers all over the bathrooms and stick stickers all over the place. And that was so on the leading edge. I remember paying $20,000 for a shopping cart to allow me to take a credit card online. I remember spending, $20,000 to build a website back this .com craze ever hit. And we sold I can't imagine that we weren't one of the first people that sold T-shirts online, and now it's become so easy, anybody can do it, and now it becomes back to distribution and having a network to sell stuff to. But lots of different things.
Yeah, I love it. Awesome. And you actually worked on the movie Being John Malkovich.
Yes, I was the line producer on Being John Malkovich. So we took home many Oscars for that year, and it was a fantastic movie to work on. One, just because it was really cool to have the singer of REM, Michael Stipe, be your boss and report to Michael every day. It was a little bit surreal, just because I was a fan, but. That movie broke a lot of molds. We broke a lot of rules in making that movie, and I really actually wish that someone had done a sort of behind-the-scenes story of how that movie actually got made behind closed doors, because it comes down to, again, network, right? I was brought in to sort of bring the film back into alignment with budgetary reasons, because there was a different group before us, and they were spending money. So they spent a big proportion of the money ahead of time. And so I was kind of brought in to bring it way under budget so that we could basically hit it at budget at the end. And because I had spent the time ahead of time building my network out and getting to know the influencers in the marketplace, we ended up doing that movie and brought it in a third under budget overall. And when you're dealing with, multiple tens of millions of dollars, when you can bring something in that under budget, it really does create a story, and stories make excellent sales tools later on. So I kind of wish we had done that, because it was a lot of fun making that movie, and really kind of takes the same way that you and I met and our relationship built and blossomed out, we used kind of that same formula, that same system back then, and really finding the influencers in the marketplace, figuring out how to serve them, figure out what to ask, so that when we needed a favor, we had kind of built up some social capital in a banking account to withdraw it, So that was a great movie to work on. I wish we had done a better job of documenting the backstory.
Yeah, a cool documentary, even now, it could be made. It could be called Being John Malkovich, right? The actual making of it, yeah. And what could be interesting, I mean, it's been so long since that movie's been made, there could be like being Julia Roberts or being somebody, that's happening today. So anyways, interesting. Well, cool. So, Case, I've heard you say before that today's currency is social currency, correct?
Yeah, connectivity, really all of connectivity is today's new currency.
Yeah.
And
so elaborate on that. What do you mean exactly by that?
Well, look, Daven, you're a great example, right? If your house burned down, if God forbid something happened to 123 employee down in the Philippines, they got hit by an earthquake or some catastrophic event, or government agencies shut down the ability to do business in the Philippines, or airliners didn't allow you to get on an airplane and fly to your next speaking event, and the internet went down, and we somehow became, North Korea all of a sudden or whatever. At the end of the day, you and I would be fine because we are connected into networks of people and networks of influencers that would allow us to get back on our feet very, very easily. And so if all of that happened and you didn't know anyone and you hadn't built relationships and you didn't have a network and you didn't have a way to stay in touch with people and you weren't really connected, you would be like, a dude down sitting on the strip in Las Vegas, handing out flyers.
Right.
Right. So when I look at businesses and I'm working with CEOs and C-suite level employees and higher, it's like, look, your network is really your currency, your social currency, meaning the number of people that you're connected to and have access to, is paramount to creating a distribution chain and a tribe so that then you can serve that tribe what it is they want, need, and desire, help them out and serve them. And if we do that, then we are going to be richer in network than most, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And, when I think of that social currency or that connectivity, right, it's our connections, but it's also our lists, it's our social media list, our email list, all the different channels that we go through. And
that's really what I mean when I say connectivity. I mean all of that, right? I mean, think of all the properties. I happen to organize several meetups around the country. Those people I'm connected to. Social media, the number of people that follow me on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Google+, Periscope, Instagram, that group, your YouTube following, that group, your email list, that group. And it always strikes me as kind of funny when I talk to business people and I'll go to their Facebook page and they're connected to like 75 friends and they don't believe in social media and they don't believe in a list. Yeah. And I go, well, who the heck's your network? And, the response is, well, I go to 3 networking groups at 6 o'clock in the morning, coffee and connections or whatever. I'm like, you just don't stand a chance next to someone like Daven, who's really spent a bajillion years building and cultivating a network of people that he's connected to. Right?
Yeah. I was speaking at a conference the other day and we were talking about LinkedIn, as a great way to grow your network, obviously. And I was sharing a whole bunch of different strategies to generate like unlimited leads for life on LinkedIn, which I always do, and I'll be doing that at Beyond Marketing Live as well. And I said, look, how many of you have received friend requests before? Everybody raise their hand. And I said, my guess is that most of you guys just accept the friend request and that's that. And I kind of gave them a strategy on how to use that as lead gen. But, there was one gentleman, he's like, oh, no, I don't accept them. I'm like, why wouldn't you want to accept somebody that wants to become a part of your network? Are you nuts? So, anyway, it's just funny. Quickly, by the way.
The reason is, Daven, the reason that occurs when you really start to dive into it is that people don't understand that connectivity is currency.
Right.
right? I mean, look at even, right now we're in a political cycle, and, I'll talk a tiny bit about politics, removing all policies and personalities that are involved. But at the end of the day, if you're in politics, you probably understand that connectivity is today's new currency better than most, right? Because it's the influencers that fund those campaigns. It's the people that can get support. It's the people that have done favors for people ahead of time so that they can pull those favors in. It's about coalescing a team and a tribe and a network of people that can go out and spread your message. It is really like he or she who's most connected almost always wins the game.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. I mean, that makes sense. Totally. So, by the way, Ray is listening to us from somewhere on the planet at 3:30 in the morning, and he was asking if we're going to send out a replay. Ray, we're going to try to send out a replay, so you can go to bed. Try not to, but if you fall asleep, we'll see what we can do. All right, and thanks for listening at 3:30 in the morning. We appreciate that. So, Case, you are going to be one of our speakers at Beyond Marketing Live. You're obviously the MC, but you'll also be speaking at the event. And I just want to ask all of you out there, if you can tell me the dates of our event, I have $20 for you. So let's see who does that real quick. And the first one to do it is going to get the $20, and I don't see anything yet.
Oh, I do.
Oh, you do? Why am I not seeing it? Okay, Liz, have you identified somebody? Oh, Lisa, you won again. Congratulations. You are fast. So that is correct. We're going to send you another $20. And Beyond Marketing Live is April 15th through the 17th at the SLS Hotel Las Vegas. And I do want to tell you all how to get free tickets and come as my guest. And to do so, simply go to beyondmarketinglive.com, type in Jetset when you're filling it out for the promo code, type in Jetset, and you'll be able to attend as my guest. You can bring a guest as well. By the way, you will be presented with the option to upgrade to VIP, and there's a lot of upsides to doing that. The most important ones are our closed-door session that takes place at 8 a.m. Sunday morning, which is very, very exclusive. Also, the PowerPoints of all of our presentations, which you're probably going to want because we go pretty deep with the marketing. And then also the VIP cocktail party, which is always pretty wild. This year, though, it's actually at my house, which is really cool. And so it'll be fun having you in my home and partying down with you. So that's going to be great. So, Case, can you share with everyone what you're going to be sharing live at Beyond Marketing Live?
Yeah, so first and foremost, let me just say that if you are not registered to come to this event, you're crazy. You're crazy, and here's why. We're talking about connectivity and currency and network building and building relationships on a global scale, and one of the things that Daven does better than almost anybody on the planet is provide a platform for you to network with other people that play at a much higher level than what you're going to find at probably your local networking events, because these are all folks that have put a little bit of skin in the game, took some of their hard-earned resources and have come to the event to meet people, learn from Daven and Bijal. And I got to tell you guys, if I knew nothing else about the event, here's why I would figure out how to get there. Just the PowerPoints are worth a plane ticket, quite frankly. And we've done this event multiple times. I've been very honored and fortunate to have been a part of it, I think pretty much since the inception. And, one of the things that is talked a lot about at Beyond Marketing Live is lead generation and how to leverage your business and create a global lifestyle business, and how to take whatever business you're in and globalize it, really, and start to leverage it out. And I'm going to take that a little bit to the next level. Having spent so many of these events watching and talking to thousands of entrepreneurs literally all over the world with this event, one of the things that I have figured out very clearly is that as business owners, we have lead generation, and then we also have, well, what do we do with these leads, right? How do we talk to them? How do we stay in touch with them? How do we follow up with them? Because it's one thing to generate 10,000 leads, but if you don't have the infrastructure in place to take care of those 10,000 leads, then it's just 10,000 names and phone numbers or 10,000 email addresses, and they don't really mean anything, right? So really what I'm going to be talking about and discussing in very conversational format is look, how do we generate referrals out of those leads? How do we take those leads and turn some of them into customers? And out of those customers, how do we create some massive raving fans? And how do we take those raving fans? And if our raving fans are our ideal client, and we understand the concept that birds of a feather flock together, then if we can cultivate a relationship with our raving fans, then those raving fans then bring us back more of our ideal client, rather than always just going out and kind of starting that process of lead gen. So we're going to be talking about networking. I'm going to probably dive pretty deep into networking live, meaning, Daven is an amazing online lead gen guy. I tend to focus both online and offline. So we're going to be talking about some networking groups. And when I say networking groups, I really mean any live event where you are, whether it's on an airplane, whether it is on a cruise ship, whether it's at a networking event, and really some principles and some on-purpose strategies that will allow you to generate real referrals and real business out of just putting into practice some simple procedures, if you will, or systems that can help you across that process.
Awesome. I was thinking about it. It's definitely a 1-2 punch, isn't it? Because one of the things I share, or something I share throughout the entire event at Beyond Marketing Live, is how to generate unlimited leads for life. Because I believe that if you can get the leads dialed in, if you have the marketing dialed in, if you have a ton of business coming in through the door, if your bank accounts are overflowing with money, then you can probably buy yourself out of just about any challenge you may face in your business. But you really come in and show people how to then nurture those leads and turn them into sales and then start raving fans. Because it's one thing to have a ton of leads, I suppose, but you need to be converting those leads too.
Right. I mean, Daven, look, you and I won't say any names. I won't call people out on this. I'm in way too nice of a mood. But, you and I have a couple of mutual friends that will run around town in our space and really believe at their core that because they can say that their email list is 300,000 people or 500,000 people, that somehow just magically makes them more influential. Well, that's all fine and dandy, but you and I both know that if these people sent out an email and they don't have a good relationship with their list, they're not serving them, they're just like generating leads, and 3 people out of 500,000 open the email, well then who cares how big the list is, right? Yeah. There's no connectivity with that list. There's no real relationship with these folks. Whereas then you can take somebody who has a list of 500 or 1,000 or 2,000 of stark raving fans, and that person can produce a way bigger result if they put in some processes and systems to really serve and take care of their tribe. Like, what good is it in building a tribe if you're not really serving the tribe with what they want?
Absolutely, I agree. So, listen, you were mentioning, influencers and key influencers, and influencers are very important. We did a webinar a few weeks ago with Anik Singhal, and if you're on this webinar or podcast, you may or may not know who Anik is, but he's a big marketer in our space. And in about 90 minutes, we generated almost 100,000 in sales. That's what happens when you align yourself with a key influencer. I'm a key influencer. You're a key influencer. So how does somebody get the attention of a key influencer and create an alliance with a key influencer if maybe they don't have a 500,000, email list? How does somebody do that?
Yeah, it's really, so first off, I think we have to understand a formula, and if I can, let me take a little bit of a step to the side and talk just a tiny bit about a formula that I think everybody on this webinar can implement and understand, and you'll start to see where leverage takes over, right? So first off, you have to understand really what influencers do. They influence, which means they already have a tribe or they already have a network or whatever. So if you understand how to start to build that out, understand that influencers hang out with other influencers. An influencer is not really going to, in a business environment, hang out with somebody that doesn't bring anything to the table. So first off, I think you have to take stock of what you actually bring to the table. Second, I think you have to really understand a formula. And, I sat down and studied Oprah Winfrey. And the reason I studied Oprah Winfrey is I started asking audiences around the globe, whether it's in Australia, whether it's in England, whether it's in Canada, US, I ask every audience, I'm like, who's the most powerful woman in the world? I get the same 3 answers, Daven, every single where I go. They're always the top 3 with a couple of outliers. I always get Hillary, Michelle, and Oprah. And so I understand why Hillary and Michelle do. They're politicians. They have to understand the network. But I really wanted to understand how Oprah did it, because at the end of the day, she's the most influential person in the world, woman in the world. Like, what is her formula? And I cracked it. I mean, much like you cracked how to become a New York Times bestseller, I sat down and cracked out how Oprah does it. And the formula is actually really easy, and anybody can implement it in their business like today. And that's this: OPC plus TR equals MC. Okay? So here it is. Other people's content plus their reach equals more contacts. So let's explain what Oprah does. What does Oprah do? She stands on a TV stage. She brings on Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise is promoting a movie or a book, right? So he goes on his social media and says, I'm going to be on Oprah Winfrey. Oprah says, I'm going to have Tom Cruise on my show. She brings Tom Cruise out on her show. He flops around on a couch. I love this girl, blah, blah, blah. Here's all about my movie. And then what happens 20 minutes into the show? She boots him, right? Other people's content, his movie, plus their reach, his fan base, equals more people in the Oprah space. Then what she does, 20 minutes in, they come back from commercial break. We go over here, we bring on the second star, Katie Holmes, right? We bring on Katie Holmes. She's doing a dance movie, so she talks about her movie. So the same thing happens on a local level, right? Let's blow the transparency lid off of this. Daven is literally in real time proving this exact model. He's got this podcast. The podcast really isn't about Daven, right? Although behind closed doors, it kind of is, because he's the Oprah here. He is bringing on entrepreneurs and influencers from around the globe. He brings us on here, and he interviews us. What is he really doing? Is he providing the content? No, we are. I'm providing the content. Is he providing the reach? Yeah, he's brought some people to the table because he's already built a relationship with some of you, and you trust and value him to bring you good content and people that are in his network that he thinks you're going to really like and enjoy and get value out of, right? But I'm also going to promote this webinar and this podcast because I want my network to hear me. I want my network to understand what I'm involved in. And at the same time, I also want my network to be introduced to Daven. So if we put ourselves in Daven's space, Daven is using Oprah's formula even on this webinar. Other people's content plus their reach equals more contacts. I'm doing the same thing. Although I'm not in this case, I'm not the player that is bringing Daven's content to my network. I'm pushing my own content out to my own network. But it's crazy to think that some of you that are listening to this, if you think that I'm funny or I'm cool or you like the content or whatever, some of you are going to go to a website and sign up for some free goodies. You might come to Beyond Biz Marketing Live so you can shake my hand. So it's really a two-way street. This podcast would only be probably a tenth of the power if Daven sat and did an hour of his own content every week. Right?
Exactly. Sure.
So really, when you go out to an event, whether it is a Beyond Marketing Live or a Chamber of Commerce event or a barbecue or hell, even a funeral, if you understand how to work with other influencers, it's literally, you guys, just about figuring out what they want. And what they want is access to your network, however big or small it is. So when I go meet somebody, I'm figuring out, look, what can I give them? What can I do? What can I help them out with? So that I can kind of then build up some social capital in a checking account so that when I need something or I have something to sell, I can then ask for the favor. So let me give you an example, Daven. If I go to an event and there's a speaker there, I'm going to go up to that speaker and I'm going to say, hey, Mr. Speaker or Mrs. Speaker, I would really love to promote you to my network. Can I do a quick 30-second video about your business and your landing page or your thing, whatever business you're in? Let me do a quick video on my smartphone, or let me jump on a Periscope and do a quick Periscope and ask you about your business, and on it, tell your website, and let's drive some people to you. Well, think about what that does to somebody that is a speaker. It's like, we want access to networks. So if somebody came up to me and said, hey, I want to interview you for my network, that person automatically jumps to the top of my list versus somebody that comes up and says, hey, I want you to do, you know, I want you to buy my products, or what do I got to get you to do to listen to my pitch, or what do I got to do to listen to my pitch? That just does not work with influencers. What works with an influencer is if I go to Dav and I say, Dav, I know you have Beyond Marketing Live coming up. Hey, what can I do to help? Can I volunteer at the event? Can I, if I was a printer, I would be saying, Daven, can I print off any of the source materials for you? If I was a t-shirt maker, I would say, Daven, hey, I know you're doing a VIP session. Can I sponsor and give you t-shirts for all those VIP people? If I was a local restaurant in Las Vegas, I would be saying, hey, Daven, I know that you announced you're having a VIP cocktail party at your house. Can I provide the liquor, or can I provide the food? Or, I would always be looking for ways to leverage because, I'm making this up here, but t-shirts, right? So Daven has, 50 to 100 VIPs at his event. 100 t-shirts at $10 a piece is $1,000. Well, if I just donated $1,000 worth of t-shirt to Beyond Marketing Live VIPs, is it possible or is it reasonable to think that Daven at some point during the event would say, hey, these t-shirts are brought to you by Casey Eberhart and his t-shirt screen printing company. If you need t-shirts, you should really go talk to him out in the hall or in the bathroom or at lunch or at the VIP session or whatever. Right? I've given you something that you wanted. I know you're going to promote me from the front of the room, but some people just can't grasp that sometimes you have to give a little first to get tenfold on the back end.
Yeah, and that's a great example because, as you know, we've had 2 videographers at our events that no longer work with us because I hooked them up so much with so many people that they're too busy to work with me now. So that just happens. It's a law of reciprocation.
Let's be transparent. My relationship with you, and some of you may follow me and you know this, and maybe some of you don't, but I have on purpose. I mean, our friendship is beyond being a system and a process, right? But in the beginning, I had to make sure that I kept you close to me and tight to me because it was very clear that you were an influencer, and you are responsible for introducing me to one of my very, very close friends, a guy who does promotions and does events all over the world and has had me speak at multiple events. So much so that I've signed a multi-year contract, a multi-year deal with this guy, and that came out of me serving you and the Beyond Marketing Live and the 123 family and staying in your space and figuring out so that when he called you and said, hey, I'm looking for this type of person, I'm assuming, I don't know this for
oh, you were my first
for reals, but I was certainly in the top 3 choices because I'm in your head at that time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you were number 1. And, that's true. That's exactly how I started speaking on stages. So I remember my very first big stage that I ever spoke on, it was here in Vegas. And the promoter, he was doing a big event, big names, Les Brown, Marshall Silver, Mark Victor Hansen, and for me to just ask him, hey, bud, put me on your stage, there was just no chance. It just didn't make sense, and I'm sure plenty of people were doing that had no clue, but that was not the way to approach it. And so I thought, how could I add value? And I figured the best way to add value is to help him get more people to the event. I asked him, I said, how can I help? He said, well, yeah, I mean, you can help me put some butts in seats, and I said, absolutely, and we did. And that was that. I literally thought, you know what, he'll remember the favor. One of these days I'll hear from him. And he literally called me within weeks. He said, I got to tell you, he said, I have all these big name speakers. Nobody's put anybody in a seat. He said, I'm going to give you a shot on my stage. I said, what? He said, yeah, absolutely. This is fantastic. And that was really the beginning of what grew into a massive 7-figure business, and that's just one of our businesses. And it feeds all of our other businesses.
Yeah, I mean, and look, I'm all about practicality. Like, what can somebody do that's listening to this, like, right now? How do they start this process and learn the power of this, right? LinkedIn and Facebook. I'll give you the easiest thing. You know that an event like Beyond Marketing Live is coming up. Daven gave you a website to go to get tickets, right? So here's the deal. You guys, this is like such a no-brainer. Go write a post on your Facebook wall, tag Daven, so that Daven sees the fact that you're promoting his event. I promise you that Daven sits at that computer and is given a report of all the people that are sharing that to their Facebook wall or their LinkedIn thing. So, I mean, I make probably 60% of my income comes off of Facebook. Yet if you were to go to my Facebook page right this second, you would literally scroll through that wall and you'd be like, I don't even know what this guy really does, right? But if you'll notice, in just transparency, that about every third post of mine is me promoting somebody else. I'm not really a big promoter of myself on social media. I already know these folks. What I'm doing is I'm promoting Daven's event. I'm promoting, the events I do in Australia. I'm promoting a platform to stay in touch. I'm building a tribe around people that really understand connectivity and networking and creating influence. But I see somebody promote a charity event. It's on my Facebook wall. I share it to my wall, and I tag them because I know that post is only going to last a few minutes. But I know who's really watching is the person I've shared it from or that I've tagged. Right? So if you're out there today, go find an influencer in your marketplace. Maybe it's an organizer of the Chamber of Commerce. I mean, at Beyond Marketing Live, this will be my tease for you. I'm going to go through the 5 people I talk to at every single event. There's only 5, and it's very crystal clear who those 5 people are. But I'll give you one. One is always the organizer of an event. Whoever's running the show, I'm going up, and I have joked about this, and I've joked about this to other speakers, and other speakers make fun of me on the circuit, and I just laugh all the way to the stage. I have more than one time been the speaker that doesn't talk to any of the other speakers, but hangs back in the background, figures out what the promoter and what the organizers and the event planners do. I have hauled more boxes of crap from organizers' cars to venues than most people. While most speakers are all hanging out with each other, I'm out at the car, I'm out at the minivan, I'm out at the Uber, picking up boxes, bringing it in, figuring out how the sound systems work, figuring out how I can best provide value to the overall event. Because those event promoters and those event planners plan other events. So if I'm in good graces with the event planner and the event producer, when they go on to another event, they either can bring on a team player or they can bring on somebody that's a liability to the show, that's just kind of there for sales or just kind of there. Daven, you witnessed this. Hell, I'm not even a kid or a pet person, and when we're at Daven's event, the 2 things I hang out with are his kids and his dog. Right? There's a reason.
Sure. That's awesome. Cool, Case. Well, you mentioned, my books and becoming a New York Times bestseller, and I have to tell you, when I became a New York Times bestseller, everything changed, right? I mean, it certainly took my business, me, to another level, and I'm very grateful, very humbled by that. And you may or may not know this, well, you know this, Casey, but those of you that are with us on the webinar, you may not know this, but one of the things that I do at the event, I believe it's on day one or day 2, is I share my New York Times bestseller blueprint. So I literally peel back the curtain and show how I was able to become a New York Times bestseller, really kind of on a shoestring budget with I literally cracked a code that nobody has been able to crack until this day, and it's pretty astounding. And so if you are thinking about writing a book, or if you've written a book, the book is really to help you take your platform to another level. And if you're interested in becoming a bestseller, then we're going to show you how to do that. And not just New York Times, but Amazon, LA Times, all of that. I hit all of those charts, and I'm just going to peel back the curtain and share with you and show you how I did. As a matter of fact, the whole weekend, I share all my resources with you. We peel back the curtain and show you exactly how we do everything. And it is just a couple days now till the event, but wherever you are in the world, you technically, if you haven't made reservations yet, you could still jump on a plane. You could still be at this event. The event could change the way you do business and change your life. And you can get your free tickets by going to beyondmarketinglive.com and using the free promo code Jetset. And get ready. We're going to give away a little bit more money here. And if you can tell me, hopefully it's not Lisa, and by the way, Lisa, thank you for volunteering at the event. We look forward to seeing you there. But if you can tell me the name of one of my books, the first person to tell me will get another $20. First person that could tell me the name of one of my books. You may see it in the chat first, guys, so hang on. I want to see it.
I'm watching the chat.
Do you see it already? Mine's a little bit delayed. Let's see.
There it is.
Okay, hold on a second.
Dale, you're close.
Dale, you're close.
You got the...
Let's see. Okay. Nope. No. Okay. Thu Dang. Congratulations. You got it. If you can drop your PayPal address into the chat, Liz will send you some money right now. Congratulations to Thu Dang. And that is one of my books, Outsource Smart. Actually, that one became a New York Times bestseller. So congratulations to you. So, Case, can you share with everyone more about follow-up marketing? You're really a whiz when it comes to follow-up marketing. You have some great strategies, and can you kind of share how you do that and what that's all about, really?
Yeah. So here's what I'll say. I probably understand people probably a little bit better than most, only because I'm in the people business first and the business of business second, right? Mm-hmm. So I follow a very simple follow-up process, and we're going to talk deep on this at Beyond Marketing Live. But I follow an acronym of PAVES, P-A-V-E-S. So when I meet with somebody, I literally put them into a process of PAVES. And before I explain what PAVES mean, I'll say this, that we have to communicate and talk with people in the way that they want to be communicated and talked with, right? For example, most speakers are not visual learners. We talk. We're auditory. We listen and we talk with our mouths, right? We're not usually a visual bunch, which is why when you watch a lot of speakers, their PowerPoint slides are usually terrible because they try to make them and they're like not artists. They don't have an eye for design because they're auditory learners, right? DJs, they listen. They're not necessarily visual, right? Speakers are not necessarily kinesthetic. So I believe that we can build a network, but a lot of times we only communicate with that network in the same way that we want to be communicated with, and we leave a lot on the table. So if somebody's kinesthetic, meaning they want to touch something, they want to touch and feel it, if all we're doing is emailing them, it may not get through. If somebody is not into their email, like say Daven, I know Daven doesn't really sit and read every single email because he gets thousands and thousands. The easiest way to get a hold of Daven may be texting him, right? Or it may be a greeting card, right? So I'm a huge fan of using greeting cards just simply because I know that I will have somebody's attention span for however long it takes to have them open that greeting card and actually read it. So I follow a PAVES model. So print, audio, visual, email, social. That covers all of the ways to communicate with somebody. So with somebody, I can send them a greeting card, right? Maybe the next month I'm going to send them a podcast where it's auditory, right? They can listen to it. The next month I might send them a video. So there are going to be people that watch the video of this webinar that it completely connects to, that if we sent them just the podcast, they wouldn't really get. There are going to be people that don't really want to watch a video. They only want to listen to it because they're listening while they're jogging on the treadmill or they're in their car in the morning or whatever. Email, we can blast the list, or we could send all of these models in one email saying, hey, if you want to watch the video of the webinar, here it is. If you want to listen to it, here's a link for that. If you want the show notes, we can transcribe it. We could have our 123 employee transcribe it, and now we've got the article version of this, right? We can send it out in an email, and then we could also connect with people via social media, right? I happen to be a big Facebook user, right? Daven plays on LinkedIn more. And so if you bring somebody into your space, just have a process that communicates with them in different modes so that you have a higher likelihood of connecting with them how they want to be connected with. And it ultimately will drive your cost per lead or your cost of acquisition of a customer down, because they can come into our space one way. And I mean, I can simply send somebody a greeting card. Here's one from a Ford dealer, right? I send somebody a greeting card with a picture of them test driving a new car and, putting a thank you for coming in and visiting blah, blah, blah Ford dealership. And I can connect with them. If I put a picture of them test driving their new car, This card then gets put on a refrigerator. That refrigerator then is a visual reminder every single day that they go down and get coffee or late night go to their refrigerator. This card sits on their refrigerator, right? I send everybody I know birthday cards. And the number of people, Daven, that call me daily and weekly and say, oh my gosh, dude, you are the only person that sent me a birthday card, it's very powerful. So what it does is that even though I can generate unlimited leads, what the hell good is unlimited leads if nobody's buying stuff? And if nobody's buying stuff, we have no ability to share our amazing experience with them and have them bring their friends and family back to us, or their colleagues or their peers, or their network into our space. Like, who cares if we have unlimited leads if we don't do anything to keep those leads close to us and develop some of those into blossoming relationships?
Absolutely. So, Case, there's a lot of questions coming in, and we're not going to have a ton of time to answer questions, but I want to answer some sort of as we go before we run out of time. And Arlene asked this question, and she said, when you first started, how do you find people targeted with what you or your prospects basically, I'll paraphrase, but she's saying, how do you find targeted prospects? And so, Arlene, I'll kind of jump in here. Case, feel free to add in as well. So, Arlene, I think the real question is if you're just getting, I mean, I can give you a whole bunch of different ways to reach those people, and a lot of the ways I would do it would probably be different if I was just starting out. So today I would do it through paid traffic. I buy a massive amount of paid traffic. I do it through media buys. I do contextual campaigns. I do quizzes. I do webinars. I do Facebook. I do Twitter. I do LinkedIn. But I usually believe that when most people are starting out, they don't have a big fat budget like I do. So when I was starting out, you bootstrap it. And so a lot of the different ways I did it was through social media. People will tell you to use Twitter. I use Twitter differently. I'm not sitting there sending a ton of tweets and getting people to respond, although that's certainly one way to do it. But what I use is the very powerful search capability in Twitter. I can find 1 billion people that are interested in whatever I have to sell, and I guarantee you there's nothing you couldn't find in Twitter. I mean, it's outrageous. Instagram is another great place to do that. I could certainly do that on LinkedIn. I can absolutely do that on Facebook. I can use social media probably to generate enough leads to last me a lifetime if I was bootstrapping. So that's certainly what I focus on. And I, as you know, Casey, I pull back, once again, peel back the curtains and share those strategies specifically at Beyond Marketing Live. But do you want to throw in some ideas as well?
Yeah, if I were just starting out, let's say that my ideal client, and I think that's a whole nother topic, is knowing who your actual ideal client is, right? So if I were, say my ideal client was an owner of a hair salon. I'm just making this up, right? I sell products to help, or an informational product, or I wrote a book on how to help salon owners make more money in their business, right? I always look for, who do I know who knows who I want to know? So I'm always looking 2 degrees back because I think I'm more strategic. So if I wanted to get to know salon owners, I would not go to a BNI or a Chamber of Commerce. What I would do is I would find the National Association of Salon Owners. I mean, there are associations of everything, right? There's associations of associations. And I would go to the owner or the leader of that organization and I would say, hey, what do I have in my skill set that I can offer up to that organization? So if I was big in social media, I would say, hey, I would love to be able to promote your upcoming event in Los Angeles or Dallas or whatever. What can I do to help? Can I provide a podcast? If Daven, if you wanted to get to know salon owners, I would go find the Salon Owner Association. I would find that salon owner of that association. I would say, hey, I do a podcast called the Jetset Entrepreneur. I'd love to have you come on board and do an episode. You're dialing into that so that then that person can leverage into the wider vein of network that you actually want to get to know. So I guess when I really break it down, if I had no money and no real experience, what I would get really good at is using social media to promote other people. Promote your potential clients, promote what they're doing. If they're running a charity organization or if they share something to their wall that, I stay away from religion and sports and politics and that kind of stuff. I'm not going to promote somebody that somebody having a political event. But, you know, if Daven's doing an event, I promote it. If, you know, if my mechanic's kid is selling Girl Scout cookies, then I might put a post on social media that says, hey, my mechanic is his daughter selling Girl Scout cookies. If you guys want Girl Scout cookies, come buy some Girl Scout cookies. It's a way to build up some capital. So it's, you know, Gary Vaynerchuk talks about it all the time. He literally wrote a book about it. Jab, 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 right hook, right? My philosophy is give, 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 ask, right? Give as much value and take your skill set and leverage that for the use of helping somebody else out, and it comes back to you tenfold. It has been my experience.
Case, you have to write a book called Give, 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 Ask.
Yeah.
That'd be great. That'd be great. That'd be fabulous. Great title. So I think we're going to wrap it up in just a moment. We're running a little bit over time. I just want to give a quick kind of final shout out for Beyond Marketing Live. As you know, Beyond Marketing Live is coming up April 15th, 16th, and 17th at the SLS Las Vegas Hotel and Casino. Steve asked if we were going to have anything on Thursday night, because people are coming out Thursday night, if we're going to be doing anything special, and we have no plans to do that. But I will let you know that the Kitsuya bar has a happy hour with great food, and it's actually one of my favorite restaurants in the whole world, and that starts at 6 o'clock, and you may get a little sneak peek appearance by me. So I'll probably pop in, as well as our VP, Bijal Parmar, and some of our staff will kind of pop in and say hello. So we will try to be there. No guarantees, but we will try to be there. But the event takes place April 15th, 16th, and 17th, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We start promptly at 9 a.m. on Friday. Make sure to get there about a half hour early so you can get yourself a good seat. You can at beyondmarketinglive.com. You can use the promo code JETSET to get yourself registered for free. Remember, the VIP cocktail party takes place in my home. We'd love to have you here and hang out with you and break bread and have a good time together. Also, I want to let you know that if you are joining us on podcast, you want to make sure to go to davenmichaels.com and opt into our list so that you are made aware of the live webinars. And of course, if you're on with us on webinar, then you want to subscribe to us on iTunes so that you can take the Jet Set Entrepreneur with you. I look forward to seeing you in a couple days at Beyond Marketing Live with my great friend Casey Eberhart. And until then, this is Daven Michaels. Live your true life adventure. Bye for now.